Jessica.
And I'm David. And we're talking about The Amazing Race.
This is one of those typical stressful legs of Amazing Race.
And very close.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally, we actually had proof that it was close, not just editing.
Yeah, right. We actually have sort of a photo finish on this one.
Yes.
But we're in Vietnam the whole episode. They're in Ho Chi Minh. And the first thing they have to do is go to this snow town place where they're sledding, and this is what levels the playing field and makes it a close leg, because this thing doesn't open until 6:30 a.m.
So they're all there, losing their lead.
Right, yes, right. And it's like,
for it to open.
Once the thing opens, it's like a mad dash, chaos. They're like tripping on the escalators, mowing down polar bears, and like trying to get these clues. But the team that can't get out of there as quickly as everyone else is Brett and Chris, because they've got their speed bump to do at this location.
Yeah, still there. They're doing like snowballs, even though they say it's kind of like ice. And he's like, tighter, tighter, pack them tighter. So they're working on that.
Yes.
As we go to the roadblock.
Yes. And this is where a lot of teams, some teams get out quick, right? Afghanimals and Riley's get to the roadblock first.
Yes.
But there are a lot of teams who are stuck. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of mopeds, right? We see a lot of like chaos in Vietnam. The traffic patterns are very different in this country.
Yes.
And there's 4 teams who are struggling to find a cab out of the Snowtown thing, period. That's Ty-Cor, it's Janelle and Brittany, it's Colin and Christy.
And Team Fun.
And Team Fun.
They are all stuck looking for a taxi, which seems like forever.
And like lots of tension between these teammates. Like Ty-Cor are kind of like snapping at each other, and you know, it's just a high stress situation trying to get these cabs.
Yes. So over at this scooter course, kind of, it's like a little race course, but you're doing it by yourself, you're not racing the other people, is Afghanimals first and the Rileys quickly there second.
And it seems like this is a challenge that's better suited for people with a little weight on them, right? Because it's easier to manage these mopeds if you've just got more body weight.
I guess. I mean, I've never ridden a motorcycle, and I'm never going to be able to. Just that kind of control and balance is something I know I'm no bueno at.
And you know what, I will say, even though I just said that it's suited for people with more body weight, Alyssa did great. The Rileys were out second.
I mean, I wouldn't call it great, but she got it. She figured it out.
Right. I mean, the Afghanimals were there first and out first, and the Rileys were there second and out second.
That's true.
It's possible for someone with a slighter frame to do an okay job with it.
But she teaches yoga, so obviously.
She's very fit. And, you know, like we said, she's helped by the fact that there are a lot of teams held back by this cab situation.
Right.
But it's a very, like, tricky course. You can't cross the yellow line, so we see people taking several attempts to get
You can't put your foot down. Yeah, it seems pretty difficult. It's going to take you a few attempts to figure it out.
Yeah.
Nicole gets there quickly, like third place. Victor does it just fine.
Yeah, right.
And then we see Chris and Brett are able to finish up that speed bump and actually get to the detour. While the people are still looking for a car, a ride.
Yeah, so they're making up a ton of time, and they're sort of back to back with the other Survivor team, Corinne and Eliza.
Yes.
They sort of get to the roadblock at the exact same time, but they sort of have different experiences there.
They do. We quickly start to see Eliza not so comfortable with this. She doesn't like it.
No.
She's not figuring it out. And she's just struggling from the get-go.
She's struggling. And they've already had a little bit of a difficult leg. Like, tensions are high because coming out of the Snowtown thing, the Riley sisters push them out of the cab that's waiting for the Riley sisters. Corinne and Eliza try to, like, pull a fast one and take the Riley sisters' cab. And the Rileys are like, no. This is not going to happen on the Amazing Race right now. So Corinne and Eliza just already have this narrative of like, why aren't we doing better? We should be doing better than Big Brother at least, obviously. Like, we're from Survivor, we just want to do better. And there's just a lot of tension already. They're saying they're never going to talk to the Rileys again after this leg of the race. Just like a lot of rivalry already.
Yes. Colin and Christy then do show up. So they're starting to get a cab, a taxi.
And then Janelle and Brittany are there sort of quickly after. But Colin is great at this moped thing because apparently they have a moped for their kid. And so he just like nails it. Makes up a lot of time from this cab situation.
Now we start to go over to the
detour.
It's either irrigation or irritation.
And the first two, Afghanimals and Rileys, choose irrigation. And it ends up being only those two teams that pick that part of the detour.
Yes, but they're there first, so they start in on it. It takes a little bit of learning this, because they think they have it, but then a check, you don't have it. So, oh, figure this out, figure this out.
Yeah.
So that takes a bit of a minute.
And then the challenging part of this irrigation part is once you have the thing built, which it seems like there's a very specific way. I mean, it's always that way. It's a very specific way of building it. But once you get it done, you have to fill this pot with water, and that takes forever.
And that's almost like sitting back and fishing or something.
Yeah.
It's like, now I'm just waiting for water to drip into this bucket.
I mean, at one point, Alyssa, once they finally get it, she's like, this is worse than watching paint dry.
It seems like it. You're like, I'm racing, and now I'm just waiting for water.
Yeah, right. So like we say, these are the only two teams that choose irrigation, and then we start to see teams show up and choose irritation. So we see Colin and Christy show up. We see Vicole show up.
Yes.
And they're in these boats.
These are like, it's like a basket boat. I wouldn't even call it a boat, except that it's floating on the water.
Right.
You have to sort of paddle your way through it.
Yep.
So it does seem a little bit easier. I mean, you have to kind of figure out, you know, your balance and what the other person is doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's people trying to distract you by splashing you.
Right.
But it's a pretty straightforward. Once you're in the boat, you go here, you find your butt. You do have to lift it up over a bridge.
Part. Like, it helps to have someone on the team who's strong, okay? So we see, like, Victor kind of lift the boat over, and Colin's lifting the boat over.
Right.
Well, then we get, like, a team fun on this part of the challenge.
And they're like...
And they are not lifting it so easily. But I will say they problem solved.
They sure did.
Found a part of that bridge that had no rail, and they bring the boat over that way.
Switch down there and go through. They figured it out.
Yes. But the one thing, so we see Colin and Christy and Vicole are the first two teams on this. Well, they get to the end where they have to pick up this fish basket, and Colin and Christy are there first, but they make the mistake of not bringing the basket back. So they have to go back for the basket.
Why are you dumping fish out of a basket?
Read the clue, guys. Come on. So they have to go back, and then Vicole manages to pass them, and then Vicole ends up being the first team out of the detour.
Back at the moped.
Yeah.
Janelle struggles just a little bit.
She's like crashing all over the place, because she's trying to go.
Literally crashes, yeah.
But she's going too fast.
Yeah, she realizes she just needs to slow down. The good thing about Janelle was she stayed focused. She didn't get flustered, even though she physically crashed.
Multiple times.
And she was like, oh, if I just slow down, I can have more control. And so she's able to get out of there. Tycor is the last of these I'm looking for a taxi to show up.
Yeah.
So it's down to Corey and Eliza.
Right.
On these mopeds.
Well, at this point, Eliza is like basically completely demoralized because she showed up with Brett and Chris. They were 4th and 5th place right back to back. And now Eliza is still struggling, just like can't get a hold of this moped. So she's like really starting to get emotional, and Corinne is doing her best to like cheer her on.
Yeah.
But then Corey makes it through, and Eliza and Corinne are just stuck there by themselves in last place.
Right. It takes Eliza 10 attempts. She eventually does sort of get it, and she's able to get out of there. Meanwhile, just about everybody has finished.
Yeah, right. So we see after Vicole and Colin and Christy get through the irritation part, we finally see the Afghanimals who were there first, but they get out third from the detour portion of it.
And the Rileys are just falling apart, we should point out.
Rachel's like in hysterics. Alyssa has fully entered Zen mode.
She's trying to calm her sister down.
Right, because it seems like Rachel wants to change detours.
She does start saying that at some point, which is like, no, stay focused.
Yeah,
like at this point.
You're so far in.
Yeah, so many teams have left. Like going to do a whole another one, I don't think would have made sense.
So luckily Alyssa like had the perspective, like knew the mood to take to balance out her sister, and was like, let's just try it one more time, right? Yeah. She just sort of had this like slow and steady attitude, and that's what I think ended up really helping them in the end, but they are struggling at this point.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
Team Fun's out.
Chris and Brett are out.
Yes.
People are like finishing, and that's another thing that's driving Rachel crazy, is they are right next to this river where the irritation thing is happening, and she just keeps seeing teams finishing and finishing.
And seeing them choose that other one.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure that does play mind games with you when you're like, we were the only ones who chose this. I mean, 2 teams are the only ones.
And there's no other team who's coming in behind us on this specific part of the detour, so we have sort of no way of gauging whether we're going to be able to beat any of these other teams.
Right. And during this freak out, we do see Eliza and Corinne eventually show up, and like everyone else, they choose irritation. They go on the boat.
And they're very much like, we're still in this, because they see the Riley sisters are still working. So they're like, let's do this. Like, we're still in the race. Let's go. So they have a little bit of hope now, even after that like horrible moped situation for Eliza.
Right.
Well, now people are starting to finish.
Okay, now we go to the pit stop.
Yeah.
Colin and Christy.
First place. 15 years later, after they did it their first time, they're in first place.
Yes.
Great for them.
Good for them. I mean, they've been finishing well.
Yeah, they were third last week.
Get-go.
Now they're first. And they did have a little, I remember Christy said early on in this episode, she's like, you know, we've sort of been towards the top, but like not the super top, which is kind of where we want to be, because we don't want to put a target on our back. But now they've won a leg, so a little bit more of a target on them. Maybe for a potential U-turn later down the line. But good for them to win this leg. Great moment.
And Nicole comes in second again.
Yes, third time in a row.
I think they came in second because Nicole wasn't running, is what at least it looked like from editing.
Because they were right here coming out of that detour, so, you know, they were just a little bit slower getting to the pit stop.
I mean, second place, no one's going to complain about second place.
No slouch.
You are going to start complaining about second place when that's all you get, you know?
Right, because Victor already is like, eventually, Phil, we're going to win that prize. But like, Nicole, I think, is still like, the only first place that matters is the one in the end. Yeah. So like, let's stay focused.
So obviously they're doing great, but you know that that's like bugging them. They haven't come in first yet.
Well, now the MVPs of the episode are Brett and Chris, third place. Huh?
What?
They were in last. They came out of the detour in fifth, and now they are third place.
Yes. Okay, parentheses, Afghanimals are lost. They're running around.
Right.
They technically would have been third.
Yeah.
But they're lost. But still, that takes nothing away from Chris and Brett, who almost were eliminated last week.
Yeah, right.
Survived and had to do a speed bump this week.
Yeah.
That's an impressive leg.
I'm kind of eating my words from last week when I was like, I don't need a non-elimination like to save Brett and Chris. Now it's like, well, look what they're capable of. Okay, I'm glad they stayed.
I mean, yeah, if that's what they needed, like a kick in the pants, I don't know, or maybe they're just figuring it out and getting their rhythm, then great. But I mean, they were not performing with the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, but now they're here.
Boom.
Yeah.
And it, you know, sometimes helps you just have a good leg and then you kind of stay up there.
Absolutely. So then fourth place, we see Team Fun come in.
Yay!
And then Tyler and Corey are in fifth, which is also good for them because they were at the back of the pack for a lot of this leg.
Right. I mean, we see them overcoming struggles constantly or obstacles.
Right.
They will always pull themselves up.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm sure they don't want to be middle of the pack type team. They think they're better, and they are a really good team.
They are.
But what they keep overcoming, though, like how they keep pulling themselves up from, like, last place.
And they just stay calm. Like, I think that's really key to their success because they're calm and they just are enjoying themselves the whole ride. Like, they're doing the irritation thing and they're calling the people in the other boats bullies and you're mean. And, like, they just can laugh in the face of like stress. Yeah. And so I think that's really key because we saw.
Also, Corey can just pull a team.
Well,
like
there is that.
Let's just point out.
Call it like it is.
He does everything.
Tyler was sitting in that basket and Corey was rowing the boat the whole way.
Corey's bleeding at the end here.
And he's like switching the oar between hands. I'm like, you have a like deep cut on one of your hands.
Yeah.
And Tyler didn't offer to take over. All right. I guess that's their dynamic and it works for them.
It does. They race very well, so don't mess with it.
Right. Well, then sixth place, finally, we see the Afghanimals. They figure out where the pit stop is. And they were second to last week. And then they moved into first along the way, and then they're back in sixth. So they're sort of uneven a little bit at this point.
Yeah, so like technically it's a few steps up from last week, but they were in first place for a bit today, so they felt frustrated, like they came back.
Right, but still safe.
Then Janelle and Brittany.
Yeah. Which,
you know, not amazing performance yet.
Well, listen, Janelle is the Corey of that team.
Exactly.
Because she did everything this leg, and Brittany admitted it on the mat.
They have a great sense of humor about things too. Like they stay focused, they work hard, and Brittany's like, what did I do today?
Yeah.
I went down a sled and attacked a snowman.
I watched Janelle do things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good for Janelle though. They're in seventh place. Well, now it's coming down to these final two teams.
Right.
We should have seen this coming from the beginning of the episode.
Foreshadowing with a cab dispute.
Yeah.
At the irrigation irritation, the Rileys finally get it and start to leave. That's when they first see Eliza and Corinne. They didn't know if they were the last team.
Yeah.
They see them getting out of the water and they're like, oh my God, we have a chance. So they're running. Eliza and Corinne are running, and it is actually close.
It is.
But boom, we get to the pit stop match.
And it's the Riley sisters.
It's the Riley sisters.
Which, I don't know how I feel.
You said it kind of disappointed, David. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, to be honest, I really liked Eliza and Corinne, even though I will say this was a difficult exit to watch.
It was.
They were not good sports. I wouldn't describe it that way.
That's not their brand.
That's not their brand. They're villains. Villains to the end, okay? And I was really enjoying them the whole way because I thought they were hilarious.
Yeah.
But, like, they took a moment, okay? They stepped...
Did.
I mean, Rachel...
that whole Matt situation was uncomfortable. Because, let's be real, the Rileys said what they're supposed to say.
Yeah.
But there was nothing genuine about it.
Right.
There wasn't even, like, a glimmer of, oh my God, they're being eliminated. You know, I just feel like if I were on the mat with anybody being eliminated, my heart would break for them because I just would hate to be eliminated, right? No matter who they are. I'd just be like, oh my God, this is horrible for them.
And like, I'm sorry that I'm one of the people who did this to you. Like,
but there was nothing on the Rileys.
They were just like,
that.
We respect them as players and women.
Which is nice that they said that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they said it.
But like, Eliza could not have rolled her eyes harder. Like, she almost like threw up on the mat. Like, she was so over it. They step
had to walk away.
Corinne's like, I'm not a positive person, so I don't know how to spin this.
Which is one of the best lines I've ever heard.
Yes. Eliza's fully crying.
Yeah.
They're saying, we're not going to social events. I never want to see these people again. We're so disappointed in ourselves. So, like, I get the sentiment of that. You're bummed. You got eliminated.
I know.
But it was, like, real dark there for a minute.
It was real dark, but they had a rough day.
They did, yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that they didn't say anything rude on the mat to the Riley sisters. I'm glad that they took a moment and walked over and vented on their own, because you can vent on your own.
Of course, yeah.
But like, literally could not get through that scooter thing. That was so frustrating for them. They had to battle for a cab.
Yeah, right.
And then you get eliminated.
Yeah.
And like they said, like, you do your best and your best isn't good enough. That really does not feel good.
And I'm sure Eliza's thinking, if we'd just gotten that cab, maybe we could have beaten them. If I'd just done a little better on the mopeds, maybe I could have beaten them, because it literally was so close in the end.
Oh, sure. Had she gone on the scooter just like, you know, 5 times like everyone else, then sure.
Yeah.
No contest. But sad to see Eliza and Corinne go.
Yeah. And now I think it's, you know, the Riley sisters are in an interesting place, because Rachel has played the race before. She's finished twice in second place.
Yeah.
So last place is not necessarily a position I think she's used to. And we'll see how they can claw their way out from this.
Right. Starting from the back of the pack is sometimes difficult. It depends, you know, next week. Do they all clump together?
Right.
Or are you stuck in the back?
Yeah,
you know?
Right. Well, what do you guys think about losing Eliza and Corinne? Are you as sad as I am?
And what do you guys think about Chris and Brett? Like, did they switch with the Afghanimals? Are they now the team to, like, watch out for?
Yeah. Let us know who you guys are rooting for, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.